So let's see. This is Fulton Street. You didn't notice. So a year ago, May, we broke ground on this project. It's about a $22 million renovation of removing the Fulton Mall, the pedestrian mall that was put in 1964, and converting it to a two-lane, what we would call a complete street, meaning there's room for cars and parking and pedestrians and outdoor dining, a lot of functions, not just one. So we wouldn't want it to be car dominated, but also having it just for pedestrian only. That doesn't work very well either. So we want to have room to do both. And additionally, for flexibility, we also have the ability to close it just for pedestrians again. So when we're doing a festival or something like that, you'll notice at each of the blocks there are some round circles, and we'll be able to screw in some posts that are about that high to block off cars. So when we're packed with people and booths and all of that, it'll be back to all pedestrians, and then after the event's over, we pull the posts out and commerce and people can flow naturally. So again, we're looking to try to have as much flexibility and have the best of all possible worlds, not just be stuck in one. So, good morning. We've been waiting for you. So, let's see. So, we have some construction projects planned. These two little buildings will come down, and they will be part of a development that incorporates this former surface parking lot over here, which will also has been serving as the construction yard for this project. So Mehmet Noyan and Terrence Frazier are going to build a 5-story development here with 4 floors of housing, and the ground floor will be retail restaurant kinds of use, and the back units will all face into the ballpark. So they're calling that development the Park. Let's see what else. So this block from Tulare to Inyo here should be open on Monday night. That's our next guess. So originally we were going to open all 3 super blocks at the same time, but because the construction took longer than planned, we wanted to get things opened as quickly as they could, and then the contractor hands the responsibility for the maintenance off to the city. The city is accepting these blocks. So the north block was open this last Monday night. This one should be open this coming Monday night. And then the middle block will be open on October 21st. Oh, that's music to my heart. So, and that will be the first night that you can drive up and down Fulton Street in the last 53, for the first time in 53 years. So let's see, what else do we want to say here? What else? So Fulton was originally a 4-lane street. Now it'll be a 2-lane street. We want to have very slow moving traffic. So we want narrow streets. The street actually looks narrower than it is because we only put in 9 feet of asphalt, even though the lanes are 11 feet, and that makes it look smaller. So it's another sort of visual trick to slow down traffic. So it's better for pedestrians when cars move slowly. It's better for bikes. And it's better because people driving through can see the shops and restaurants and see people sitting outside and hopefully see something they want and pull over and spend some money in our downtown. We also have these mid-block crossings here. So another way to make it easier for pedestrians, and it also slows down traffic. When you look down the street and you see a bunch of people crossing, you'll immediately slow down. So a lot of little tricks. They call it traffic calming in the revitalization world, to try to, we want cars, but we also want them to behave, right? Be a part of it, not dominate it. So finding that balance. You notice we've got our fountain over here flowing. The fountains were rebuilt from the original plans. although they're at about 80% of the size of the fountains that were here before. We need to shrink them down just a little bit to be able to fit them onto our sidewalk and still have ADA and Americans with Disability Act clearance, and room for the art and room for tables and all those things too. So you wouldn't really notice the difference, but they're a little bit smaller. But everything else is according to the original plans, except for we have better pumps and filters and things to make them operate better than they did when they put this in 1964. So let's see, about a quarter of the budget for this entire project was for fountains and for the restoration of the artwork. So that was a very high priority from all of our community meetings. So it was reflected in the budget for the project that we took care of those things. The art was originally purchased privately by citizens of Fresno and donated to the city, and then so every piece was renovated and every piece has been placed back into the new design. You also see we have the stripes in the sidewalks. Those stripes were part of the original mall design, so we just didn't want to say Fulton Mall was horrible, we want a street. We wanted to respect what had been done before and incorporate that into the new plans. So ultimately, we know from 175 cities that had taken out a pedestrian mall before we did, that it's a very quick revitalization once you put the street back. 90% of the cities that took out a pedestrian mall and put a street in, revitalized within the first 4 years. So very good data before this decision was made, knowing that this was the right thing to do if we wanted to bring our downtown back to health. Let's see, what else? We've got some of our benches coming in. We have new trash containers. We were just talking a little bit ago. There will be bike racks. So as all of that gets put in on this block, then it will be ready for the opening. What else? Not much to report here. We were hoping to do a public market over from these brown towers over, but the funding source that the city was looking at to bring their building, the city owns that portion of the old Gottschalk's building back up to code, but that didn't come through. So we're still working on finding a location or finding other funding to do that public market project that we wanted to do for several years. Let's see, should we walk?
Yep.
All right, you've stretched, you ready to go?